Welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at a New York Times article all about AI and some really cool discoveries. It's kind of a crazy idea. Scientists are actually using what they call AI hallucinations to make these big breakthroughs. We're talking new antibiotics, custom designed proteins, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of strange, right? You think of hallucination like a bug, but what's really interesting is how these kind of glitches are actually pushing science forward.
Totally. It's almost like the AI is coming up with these like wild ideas, stuff scientists might never have even thought of. And then some of them are actually turning out to be like brilliant? So let's break it down. What exactly are we talking about when we say AI hallucinations?
So basically, it's when an AI generates something totally new, like something it wasn't programmed to create, right?
Right.
It's almost like imagine you give an AI all the information we have about, say, the human body, and it looks at all that data and starts to like imagine new possibilities just based on the patterns it sees.
So new proteins, new molecules.
Yeah, even like new biological structures that we've never seen before.
That is wild. It's almost like giving the AI a bunch of rules and then saying, okay, now go nuts. But
Right.
it still has to follow those rules, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting because sometimes those like hallucinations, they actually lead to real world breakthroughs. Like
Yeah.
the article talks about this guy, Dr. David Baker. He's a Nobel Prize winner who's using AI to design brand new proteins.
We're talking about like designing them from scratch, like not just tweaking existing proteins.
Yeah, like proteins that have never existed in nature.
Okay, now that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Right.
This is actually happening now.
Oh, it's totally happening. And it's changing the game in fields like medicine and materials science. I mean, think about it. Like, traditionally, designing new proteins has been such a slow process, mostly trial and error. But now, with AI, they can, like, generate and analyze millions of designs in, like, a fraction of the time.
Wow, it's like going from a horse and buggy to a supersonic jet.
So what kind of impact is this having on actual research? I mean, this isn't just theory, right?
Oh, not at all. This tech is already being used to develop new drugs and therapies. For example, uh, Dr. Baker and his team, they've designed proteins that can target specific cancer cells, which, could lead to more effective and less toxic treatments.
Wow.
They've even developed proteins that can neutralize viruses. I mean, that could totally change the way we fight infectious diseases.
That's incredible. And this is, like, just the beginning.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just to give you an idea, Dr. Baker, he holds over 100 patents related to his work.
100 patents. That's amazing. So, I mean, you mentioned it's like going from a horse and buggy to a supersonic jet. But are there any speed bumps we should be aware of? Does it always work perfectly?
Well, like with any new tech, there are definitely challenges. For one thing, the term hallucination itself is kind of controversial in the scientific community.
Yeah, the article mentioned that not all scientists are, like, thrilled about that word. Right. They argue that it has kind of a negative connotation. Like, it implies that these ideas the AI comes up with are, like, false or unreliable.
Like it's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right.
They prefer terms like, perspective or imaginative designs.
Mm.
It's not about the AI being wrong. You know, it's more about it exploring possibilities beyond what we already know.
Right. Like playing a what-if game.
Exactly. But on a massive scale, like really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Okay, so just to be clear, these AI hallucinations, it's not like they're totally random, right?
No, not at all. Unlike with something like a chatbot, where the information can be like totally off base, these hallucinations in science are still grounded in the hard facts of nature. The AI is working within the laws of physics, chemistry, and biology.
So it's not like it's gonna, like, suddenly hallucinate a unicorn.
Right. It's more about exploring new combinations and possibilities within, like the framework of scientific principles.
Okay, so it's like the AI is saying, okay, here are the rules of the game. Now let's see what amazing things we can create. So we've got AI hallucinating these new designs and stuff, but it's not just a free-for-all. It's still bound by, like, the realities of science. And it's not just about the AI doing all the work, right? It's still a collaboration between humans and machines.
Oh, absolutely. These hallucinations are really just a starting point. Scientists still need to take these AI-generated ideas and actually put them to the test.
So it's not like the AI spits out a perfect solution and everyone goes home happy. There's still a lot of, human ingenuity and hard work involved.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, this is where the real magic happens, the synergy between human and artificial intelligence. So scientists take those AI hallucinations and use their own knowledge and expertise to evaluate them. They see which ones actually have real potential and then develop those ideas further through experiments and testing.
Gotcha. So it's like the AI is providing the spark, that initial burst of creativity, and then scientists take it from there.
Exactly. It's a true partnership.
Well, before we dive into some more examples of this, let's take a step back for a second and kind of, dive into the mechanics of how this all works. I mean, how does an AI actually, hallucinate something new? We're going to break that down for you right after this.
Okay, so how does an AI hallucinate?
Right.
Basically, it all comes down to like the way these systems learn. It's kind of like, imagine you're teaching a kid to paint. You show them different colors, brushes, techniques, and then you just kind of let them experiment.
Right.
At first, they might just copy what they've seen, but eventually they'll start creating their own like unique paintings. They start combining those elements in like new and unexpected ways.
I see. So it's like the AI is learning the rules of a particular domain, whether it's proteins, molecules, or even like weather patterns, and then it uses those rules to come up with its own creations.
Exactly. And the more data you feed it, the more sophisticated its understanding of those rules becomes.
Right, right.
And that's how it gets more creative with its hallucinations.
Yeah.
The key is that it's not just like spitting back what it's been taught. It's actually using that knowledge to like generate something totally new.
Okay, so let's get into a specific example here. The article talks about this really cool case involving the development of a bacteria-resistant catheter.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. And a perfect example of how AI can help us solve problems that have like stumped scientists for years.
Okay.
Catheters, they're essential medical devices, but they're also like notoriously prone to bacterial contamination,
Yeah.
which, can lead to some pretty serious infections.
Especially for patients who are already vulnerable.
Exactly. So this team, led by Dr. Anima Anand-Kumar, they used AI to design this new type of catheter that's much more resistant to bacterial growth. And get this, the AI didn't just tweak an existing design. It came up with a totally new geometry, something scientists hadn't even considered before.
Hold on, the AI designed a whole new shape. What does it look like?
Well, it's actually pretty unique. It has these sawtooth-like spikes on the inner walls.
Spikes.
Yeah, like spikes. You can kind of think of it like a medieval castle, with those defensive spikes.
Oh, I see. To keep invaders out.
Exactly. So basically those spikes, they prevent the bacteria from, like, clinging to the surface.
And forming colonies.
Yeah, and they're also less likely to, swim upstream and cause infections.
That's amazing. So, the bacteria just can't get a foothold.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how AI can think outside the box and come up with solutions that, like, humans might never have imagined.
I mean, this is incredible. But even the most amazing ideas still need to be, validated, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dr. Anand Kumar herself, she emphasizes this point. She says, something newly designed by AI hallucinations requires testing. It's important to remember that the AI is just providing the blueprint.
Right.
Scientists still need to take that blueprint and put it through rigorous testing.
So it's like, having an architect design this amazing skyscraper, you wouldn't just start building it without making sure the plans are sound and that the structure can actually stand up.
That's a great analogy. The testing phase is where scientists figure out if those AI hallucinations actually hold up in the real world. That's what sets this field apart from something like, say, a chatbot generating text. In science, the ultimate test is reality.
Okay, that makes sense. So while AI is kind of shaking things up in the scientific world, it's not replacing the scientific method.
Right.
It's more like augmenting it.
Yeah.
Giving scientists a powerful new tool to explore the unknown.
Exactly. It's all about humans and machines working together, leveraging the strengths of both.
Like a true partnership.
Exactly.
Okay, so are these hallucinations just limited to, designing things like proteins and catheters? Or can this approach be used in other scientific fields as well?
Oh, it's definitely not limited to those areas. In fact, the article mentions another cool example from the field of weather forecasting. Dr. Amy McGovern and her team are using AI to create what they call hallucinated weather models.
Hallucinated weather models. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How does that work?
Basically, they feed the AI tons of historical weather data. And the AI uses that data to generate thousands of potential future weather scenarios.
Yeah.
Some of which might seem pretty unusual or even extreme.
So it's exploring all the possible ways a weather system could evolve, even the ones that are super unlikely.
Exactly.
But still within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and these hallucinated scenarios can help scientists understand the factors that could lead to extreme events like hurricanes, tornadoes, severe droughts. This is especially important now with climate change, making weather patterns more unpredictable.
Right, right. Because if we can better predict these extreme events, we can be better prepared.
Exactly.
Mitigate their impact, protect lives and property.
Absolutely. And that's just one example of how these AI hallucinations are being used beyond like just design.
Hmm.
Scientists are exploring this approach in, fields like drug discovery, material science, even fundamental physics research.
Wow, it's like this technology is opening up a whole new dimension of scientific exploration,
Totally.
allowing us to ask questions and explore possibilities that we couldn't even imagine before.
Exactly.
And what's really exciting is that we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
As AI continues to evolve, who knows what incredible breakthroughs are out there?
Who knows?
Well, before we get too carried away thinking about the future, let's bring it back to the present for a minute. We've talked about the potential of these AI hallucinations, seen some pretty amazing examples. But what does this all mean for the average person? How might this technology actually impact our lives? We'll explore those questions right after this.
Okay, so we've talked about, AI dreaming up proteins and designing catheters and stuff, but let's zoom out for a minute. Big picture time. What does all this mean for like the average person? How is this tech actually going to impact our lives?
Well, the possibilities are huge, right? I mean, the impact on our everyday lives could be pretty big. For starters, like we saw with Dr. Baker's work, this tech could lead to like a whole new generation of medicines and therapies.
Yeah, right.
Imagine a world where, diseases like cancer or Alzheimer's or HIV aren't the threats they are today.
Yeah. I think that's a future we all like to see.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about like treating diseases, right? This technology could actually help us prevent them in the first place. Exactly.
Yeah.
AI could help us design, personalized diets and fitness plans based on our genes.
Right.
It could even help us predict health risks years in advance,
Wow.
and even create medications that are specifically tailored to our individual genetic makeup.
So it's about being more proactive about our health
Exactly.
instead of just waiting for something to go wrong.
Exactly.
But the potential goes way beyond healthcare, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. AI hallucinations could, totally change the way we live and interact with the world around us.
Okay. How so?
Well, imagine smart cities that can, optimize traffic flow, reduce pollution,
Right.
and personalize services to our needs and preferences.
It's almost like the AI becomes this invisible hand that's guiding us toward a better world,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
more efficient world, a more sustainable world, a more enjoyable world.
And it's not just about making things more efficient either. AI could unlock a whole new level of creativity, too.
Oh, interesting. Like how so?
Well, imagine AI tools that can help artists create these incredible works of art.
Oh, wow.
Or, composers write amazing music,
Yeah.
or architects design buildings that blend in perfectly with nature.
So it's not about replacing human creativity, it's about amplifying it.
Exactly. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Right, right.
The article, it quotes this guy, Dr. Pushmeet Kohli, who leads the science division at DeepMind. He says that AI is helping us unlock the language of life.
The language of life. That's pretty profound.
It is, and I think it captures this feeling that we're on the verge of something really big.
Absolutely. And Dr. Baker, the Nobel Prize winner we talked about, he actually envisions a future where AI-designed proteins could, harvest sunlight. We're talking about solving the energy crisis, creating
Yeah.
a truly sustainable future, all thanks to the power of AI.
I know, right? It's amazing. It's so inspiring to think about how this tech could not only, advance science, but also help us solve some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
Absolutely. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a few things to think about. What other crazy discoveries might be just around the corner thanks to these AI hallucinations? How will this tech change the way we do science in the future? And maybe most importantly, what role will we play in this new world that's being shaped by both humans and AI?
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are truly endless, and the future is really ours to create. Like the article says, once we decipher and truly understand the language of life, it will be magical.
And with that, folks, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI and science. We'll see you next time as we continue to explore the cutting edge and uncover all the amazing things happening in our world.